we smash health talks at the moment.
Say this is one of the hardest things to get a practice to implement. When you say health talk, tell us about a health talk. What do you do?
The best thing about this actually as a thing for me is my associates argue who's doing the next talk, because they've seen that we can pull anything up to 30 people into a room for a health talk, and we convert at anything 50%. So if we can get 30 people or 25 people in a room, we're going to book 12 to 15 new patients. We've pretty much got an event on every weekend.
How's it going, dude?
Yeah, good. Yeah, I can't complain.
Good. Well, give me an angle for this chat, because it's been like a while that we were like, and then something like sparked in my head about, hey, I need to get in a podcast. And it was maybe off like the back of you saying to me something along the lines, what I remember was like, shit, we've had a couple of record months or something like that. So I thought it'd be cool to discuss that. But if I had to give like a headline from what to what, or just tell me what we discussed. Do you remember?
I can tell you that we're fast approaching $1 million a year.
That's nice.
I think that's what kind of sparked it off, because I think we're having the conversation of what $1 million a year was, and I think it was 83.
Yes, it is.
And we've been having 75 plus months.
All right. And then you were like, give me like a from either when we started working together or like in the last, like where there's been like a big jump recently, hasn't there?
Yeah. So we've gone from about 60 to 75 in the last 6 months. So averaging 75 a month in the last year. So we weren't really consistently breaking 60.
Okay.
So we were at about 600 a year, 650. Yeah, but we've just added 2 associates, and it's just massively changed like revenue, insanely.
Could we say going from $500,000 to $1 million a year, breaking the million?
I mean, to be honest, since I've been working with you, Ryan, it's gone from about 220, 240 to nearly $1 million.
All right, so from 200 to,
because it's in your playbooks a lot.
All right. Yes. Okay, cool. So let's go with that angle, and then we can just let it go. Let's try. I'm gonna keep it relatively short if I can. I'm trying to keep these like two, because I can talk the hind leg of a donkey. So we don't have to. We can just get going into straight away. I want to, because I'll record like an intro separately for the things. So dude, thanks for joining me on the podcast today. It's awesome to have you here. For those of you who don't know, Dr. Patrick Hogg. He's been a long-term member of my coaching group, and he's a done for you member. So he's been, the best way I can describe him is always shows up at every event. How long have we been working together for now, Patrick?
Since I graduated 2016, so 2018. I think I was about 2.5 years in practice when we started working together.
That's awesome. Because actually, when we were preparing for this little podcast, if you will, this interview, I was just saying to Patrick, hey, like, remind me of your story again. And sometimes when you're working with someone for a while, you even forget it. So for those that don't know Dr. Patrick, where do you practice?
I'm in Eastbourne, so it's about 40 minutes away from Brighton. I think that's the closest place that everybody actually knows.
All right, that's awesome, man. And I remember we were at an event recently, and there was been a big jump, and we have these like ceilings in business. I do, you do, we all have it. And it was like, and then you came to me and you're like, dude, I don't know if you know it, but we're just about to break the £1 million mark.
Yeah, we're like, close.
Hey, so close. But there's been a big jump from like 60 grand a month right now to like your 70s and 80s, and are right there. And I thought I'd just jump on a quick call with you, because actually your journey started with me on about £200,000 a year.
Yeah, I think we were about 220, 240 when I first started. Yeah.
Yeah. And then tell me about that practice a little bit. Was it just you? Was it you, a CA? Like, yeah, tell me about that. Where did you start?
It's crazy because we, as far as members of staff concerned, we've not necessarily added that many members of staff.
It's amazing.
We've added someone that works mostly with marketing, that obviously liaises with the done for you team. and kind of keeps on top of our socials. And I've had someone that's done tele sales for me. But otherwise, like, my team is pretty much the same size as when I took over the practice, bar the fact that we've added 2 chiropractors. That's pretty much the only difference. That's it. Oh, and 1 massage therapist. So when I first started running the practice, we had, in fact, I think we had 3 physios there when I first started. A massage therapist, and then myself as a chiropractor. And then we had some space that was being rented by other people. We've kind of got rid of the renters. Like, it just no good, and just causes problems.
Of course, but yeah, I mean, you have to learn that, right? You have to go through the process of renting out the rooms and then going, "Hey, this is not a great money model." And
well, I took over a practice, so it was already set up like that. And so when people basically ended their lease, I just didn't renew it. I just didn't look for new people. We've just grown into the space. So originally closed room practice, grown into open space, added 2 more chiropractors, added another massage therapist, and and the rest is history.
Gee, that's phenomenal. So let's go through the journey. Actually, we'll start like in reverse a little bit. So you had amazing growth, and you're so close to that £1 million mark now. And there's been like a little breakthrough for you because you didn't have associates, right? So you got to, like, would you say you got from like 0 to like $500,000 without associates?
Yeah, easy.
Okay.
And I mean, like, without chiropractic associates anyway.
Yes, without chiropractic. So you got like the practice to like $500,000 a year, no associates. And then what's changed like recently? Because you've had a little breakthrough, because we've all, like, you know what it's like, and sometimes you're sitting at a ceiling and you just can't seem to break through, whether it's 100 a week, 200 a week, 300 a week, etc. I'm sure you must have got frustrated at times. So what do you think has changed for you recently, and why the big breakthrough? Because you messaged me, you're like, dude, it's amazing. I think you can tell us some of the stats, but I think your associate that you hired went from 0 to something in, I don't know how many days. So
it was 0 to 100 visits in less than 3 months. Phenomenal. So we employed him in March, and by June he was already seeing 100 visits a week. So he was generating 20K revenue a month for the practice plus within 3 months. It was big. It was a big jump fast. And then we added another associate in September who has added another, I think last month he did 10. He's a new grad as well.
Okay, and what's that's incredible again. So what do you think the big shift has been there for you? And let me ask you this: like, why did it take you so long to hire? Look, I'm of the opinion, I don't think hiring associates is for everyone. So actually, that's not a loaded question. That's not like a, hey, you should have hired sooner. Because I just don't think for some people shouldn't hire an associate. Like, honestly, they should just go in there, smash it, get the practice to $500,000, $1 million by themselves, and they'll make great money and they'll be happier. So talk me through that. Why did it take so long? And
I've had associates in the past. I had an associate probably 2 to 3 years ago, and she moved back to Latvia. Her dad was unwell, so she wanted to remove herself from the practice and go back to Latvia. And we've just never been able to find anyone since. Just we advertised with Chiro Jobs. We always advertised in the universities. I interviewed about 4 or 5 people, and the most annoying thing is, like, I know for a fact that 2 of those chiropractors that I interviewed went to the clinic around the corner, and they've since left. And I said to them, you just got to be careful, because I know my competition, and I've always said the same thing to associates. And it's like, I have no preference of where you guys choose, like, but just know this: I watch what happens in our town, and I know what happens to associates that that go and work in that practice. They don't stay there very long.
Yeah, it's really hard to watch. Actually, I've had that experience many times. And it's really hard to watch. But as I say, some lessons need to be lived to be learned. Okay, so now you've, like, there's kind of a planets have aligned for you. What has been the big reason, or tell me about some of the marketing strategies, or what's been working well for you guys to break to that kind of ceiling and get to the $1 million?
I mean, to be honest, man, we've just been rinsing and repeating the same thing.
There's something to
6 years.
Yeah, there's something to be said in that. So tell me, what would you guys be focusing on at the moment?
What, as in, like, what are all the things that we focus on?
No, like, what's been rinsing and repeat? What's been working well for you right now? Like, how did you get that associate to 100 visits a week in 3 months?
Yeah, okay. I think I understand that. Internal, external screenings.
Yeah,
but both. So we have like a local air show, but that's a big one for us. So we picked up like 40 new patients at that weekend. In-house screenings, so driving people from social media onto a landing, booking them in for a 15-minute consult, and then obviously doing the upsell onto a discounted appointment with exam and x-rays. We obviously use lead gen, so straight into booking. So we've been rinsing, repeating that. Health talks, like we smash health talks at the moment. Like it's really funny.
No, so I want to deep dive in a little bit. So now, I know some of these answers. I'm more asking them from for audience perspective. So tell me about that, because it's interesting, Patrick, because I'm working with so many practices now, and I'd probably say this is one of the hardest things to get a practice to implement. When you say health talk, tell us about a health talk. What do you do? How do you do it? How do you advertise it? What are some of the topics that have worked, and what are some of the topics that haven't worked? So can you dive into that a bit?
The best thing about this actually as a thing for me is my associates argue who's doing the next talk.
Awesome.
So I think because they've seen that we can pull anything up to 30 people into a room for a health talk, and we convert at anything 50%. So if we can get 30 people or 25 people in a room, we're going to book 12 to 15 new patients. In fact, my new grad associate did a talk on rotator cuff. We had 25 people in the room. I think 17 of those, bearing in mind, right, been out of school for 3 months, booked 17 new patients off of a health talk on rotator cuff. But I mean, we've done loads of different topics. So we've done rotator cuff, we've done plantar fasciitis, we've done fibromyalgia, we did a neurodiverge talk as well. That one was killer because the IT guy decided to do an update on all our computers just as we were about to take bookings and completely fluffed us up.
Oh no, so you couldn't take the payments?
We couldn't take bookings. So we took payments, but then actually trying to get those people to book in was just a freaking nightmare. It just absolutely ruined the wholesale on it.
So those type of things will do that.
Yeah, it happens.
What's your how many workshops a month are you doing?
External, so from social media, we are doing minimum 2. Minimum.
That's phenomenal,
minimum 2, and we're doing minimum 2, and then a screening a month. We've pretty much got an event on every weekend.
Oh, dude, that's by the way, it's music to my ears. It's certainly not easy to do, but if there's anything we've seen in the marketplace right now, lead gen and things like that are becoming harder to do, and super hard. Cost per leads are going up, etc. So you guys are driving people into a value-added workshop, and then you're offering people opportunity to come see you at a discounted rate, and they're paying at that appointment. And tell me about that. Like, has there been a market increase, or have you noticed any difference in the quality of lead or quality of new patients that's come from workshop as opposed to lead gen? Is there anything that you guys notice that's better with that?
I mean, I would say the quality of workshop patients is always better. Always. Yeah. It's always been better. Like, and even if I can get people into orientation talks, that's always been better as well. It's something that we kind of use as a hybrid. So we do use the talk to get people into the talk as well. So current clients into those talks as well. And that just essentially that drives up their conversion as well, and drives up the longevity of their care.
What's your goal for new patients a week or month, or do you guys have a KPI?
So I try to aim to get my associate. I mean, for me, I don't really see that many new patients. I might see 2 or 3 a week. But with my associates, we aim for anything from 5 to 10 a week. Actually, to be honest, the guy that's at 100 a week probably actually only needs 5 now.
5 now. So you guys are generating in the practice 15 to 20 a week new patients?
I have to look at numbers, but I think probably about 90. Yeah, anything up to 90 a month.
90 a month. Okay, amazing. So that's been a nice little spike for you guys. I want to just quickly talk about, you've got such a high close rate, especially for chiropractors who are relatively new. Do you do anything special around that? I mean, I know we teach some strategies, but do you do any role play with them or strategies around that? What do you guys do to get it?
With regards to closing on the talks?
Workshop,
Yeah, workshops. So we've always used the same voucher close.
Okay, so explain to someone listening to this what is a voucher close, because that's a term that's like term
that's a Ryanism.
That's a Ryanism. That's a Ryanism. So someone listening to this right now is like, hey, one of the biggest challenges, and by the way, platforms, they call it platform selling. There is an art to that, and it's actually really difficult. It's not like a hey, it's not a way. So explain to us like what a voucher close is for someone listening right now, and if you're closing at minimum of 50%, it obviously works.
Yeah.
So tell us a bit more about it.
So the voucher close. So we obviously deliver value on the talk first. That's obviously always our highest priority first. And then obviously we always have like a little goodie bag that's in the room. That's just a standard for us. It's normally just a little paper bag. It's got stuff like a coffee cup in. It might have like if we're doing a health talk, it may have like a list of exercises that you can do for rotator cuff or things you can try to manage your plantar fasciitis, whatever. So we have a little handout that's in there. We put like a pen, and we always put a voucher in the back.
Okay.
And so the voucher's obviously got full price, day 1, day 2. What does it entail? Exam, x-rays, blah, 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 report of findings. So normal price for these 2 visits is $220. The voucher gives you 50% off. So you can use this anytime that you want, 50% off. You can have it for $110. But to be fair, for everyone that's going to be paying full price on Monday, is it okay if I do something even better? And you never get a no, Ryan, do you? Never get a no.
You don't. It's funny because I'm listening to you, and it's verbatim our process we teach, but so it's hard for me not to jump in and go, that's amazing, that's awesome. So keep going. Yes.
So if we do something extra special Tuesday, we take another 50% off. So it's 55 rather than 210. However, that has to be booked and paid today, to be fair to everyone that's paying full price on Monday.
Yeah, that's amazing. So the psychology behind that, anyone listening right now, is we'll call it the F-bomb. The F-bomb is fair. So if you want to kind of double or at least add anywhere from 50 to 20% increase in close, a couple of things that we struggle with as chiropractors or anyone selling anything from stage is there has to be a limiting factor, and the limiting factor is you got to do it tonight. Now, whenever you add a limiting factor to anyone listening to this, you really have to offer a reason. You have to say why it's a limiting factor, and the limiting factor always has to be the truth, because you're going to look like a bulldog chewing a wasp if you're not saying it with like the true reason. So a lot of people use things like manufactured limiting factors, like, oh, the room is small, I can only take 10 people, etc. So we have a way of teaching it is like, hey, it has to be tonight because everyone's going to be paying full price on Monday, and it should be fair to everyone coming through. So Patrick uses that exact same script, and your associates use that same script. So you've taught them that exact same script, and it really, really works. So that's absolutely phenomenal. So you've gone from 200,000 to $1 million. I just quickly want to jump way ahead. It's really interesting for me because you have been quite a massive part of a learning that I learned from your practice. So we launched AI. Telephone calls. Patrick's an early adopter, right? So you and your team were like, cool, we're in. And the story actually goes that
mostly.
Well, actually the story goes, you're more in than you realize, because what happened was the story goes, there is obviously, it must have been scary, dude, to like go, hey, like we're going across the AI. But the story goes that I gave to my team, and we initially set out with the AI to solve outbound, so following the leads. So actually, I've just listened to a recording of, I assume so now our AI is phoning the workshop attendees, and it's saying to them, hey, just confirming, I've just listened to a recording, and it's also saying, who would you like to bring as a guest? And do you have any special dietary requirements? That's again a Ryanism that we teach, because if you bring a guest, that's obviously important for you. If they confirm dietary requirements, that's also an opportunity to make sure that they actually show up. So the show up rate goes up when they start confirming type of stuff like that, because they believe that you're going to be catering for them. And that's all built into the script on the AI. But actually what happened was we built it to sell that. And then we also had inbound, and we weren't expecting practices to pull the trigger on inbound 24/7. And I got to the office and was like, Dr. Patrick Hogg, pull the and I'm sure there were lots of learning curves to go through that. You're one of our first practices ever to pull inbound and outbound. But you want to tell us about, you've been able to go from 200,000 to $1 million. But one of the things that I don't want people to miss from that you've almost increased you haven't increased the support staff too much. And I would say that embracing you use us as a marketing agency, a tiny plug there, but besides the point, you've been able to outsource that for a fraction of what you pay a full-time employee, but you've also built in AI now. So do you want to tell us about that journey and the courage around that and some of the things you've learned about that, if any?
Yeah, I mean, like you say, it doesn't come up without the trials and tribulations. I mean, you definitely get some kickback from people. But what I've learned in business, and my staff freak out about this all the time, and it's the same again when we first started sending emails from the practice. It was the same when we first started doing outbound calls from a telemarketer. Like, it doesn't matter what you do, you're going to piss someone off. Sorry, I'm going to use cuss words, right?
No, you are. That is a phenomenal takeaway.
Yeah.
That is a phenomenal takeaway.
Yeah. And so, I mean, is it perfect? No.
Yes.
Are my staff perfect? Definitely not. And is it booking rates similar to what my staff were doing? Well, it's probably doing as well, if not better.
Got it.
Like I say, there are definite scenarios where it can, and I'm assuming it will improve as time goes on. But I wasn't expecting it to be a miracle, but it has massively taken pressure off the front desk. So people in the practice get much better attention. Like that's a definite. So the people that are in the practice that are with my front desk, they can be much more attentive in that scenario. Much.
Yeah, that's it. That's incredible. And it's interesting about it because I've been involved in this outsourcing of telephone call game for a long time. So what I'm noticing is we see the same, like in the beginning, let's say 10 years ago or 5 years ago, there was the same conversation. It was just like, hey, we're outsourcing to a team in India. We're outsourcing to a team in South Africa. We're outsourcing to a team in Philippines. And the conversation around that was, it's a much cheap. So it's not, instead of, let's call it £2,000 a month, each person I'm hiring in the Philippines, India, Pakistan, or South Africa is like £800. And the trade-off was, hey, it's saving so much money. So if let's say you had 2 full-time employees in the UK who were covering 8 till 8 every day, you're looking at, let's call it £5,000 to £6,000 a month. To cover full-time inbound and outbound. If you outsource that to a human team in India, Pakistan, South Africa, etc., you were going all the way down to say £2,000. So let's call it 25% to 30% of the cost. The thing that's phenomenal about the AI telephone thing right now is you've got less trade-offs, but dude, it's not even
much more of a cost.
It's at less than a tenth of the cost. So let's say it's going to cost you £5,000 to £6,000 to do the equivalent, all the outbound calls, all the inbound calls. This is costing you like literally £500. So now it's like there's
not
compromise.
Expensive.
What's that?
It's not expensive.
It's
in comparison to what a member of staff, or even trying to get your staff to follow up with it in house, like even though they're in the clinic, right, and that you're already paying them to do clinic hours, like they're going to be there, right?
It's impossible.
Yeah, they just don't do it.
I don't care what anyone says. It's impossible. Like I've stopped trying to like coach this. It's impossible. And the stats on this are clear: is that you have to phone, and then obviously if they don't phone, so first of all they're going to phone in 60 seconds. They don't do that. Then they're going to phone the same within the first hour. They don't do that. And if they don't get hold of the person on the first ring, they're certainly not going to phone twice a day for 6-7 days. So, and that's only becoming harder. But the inbound is what I really want to commend you on, the courage to just pull the trigger and deal with the mess, because it is going to be messy. Like, I know I spoke to you a few times. You were like, here's the thing. You had the foresight to go, dude, it's messy right now, but shit, like at the cost and at
I remember having this conversation with you, and you were like, no, it works. I was like, Ryan, that's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm saying,
I remember that
there are some issues with this as well. People blowing up on our phone, but I've had emails back from emails that we sent out on our CRM going, how they send me so many emails.
Yeah.
Charlatans, so like, you quack. It's just, so like you say, who is, I can't even remember who it is, but if you haven't set one off by lunchtime, you're not working hard enough.
Yeah, it was Dan Kennedy that said that. But yeah, dude, you've been phenomenal. But I just want to commend the biggest thing that I didn't know this, by the way, but that 200,000 to a million with very little increase in staff costs is a phenomenal thing to be able. Obviously, you've got your associates, so yes, but in admin, in admin staff costs, that's a phenomenal stat to talk about. So we've got here's the thing: you've got multiple marketing campaigns out at the moment. You're pushing really hard. Tell us what the next 6 months to a year looks like for you, and give us some insights on that.
Yeah. So one of the things that I've heard this been said that you don't get more free time. This has definitely made more free time for me, like hugely so. So hiring associates has freed up a huge amount.
I'm with you,
massively. The other thing that obviously freed up a huge amount of time was running open plan and just reducing appointment times. I worked this out across how many visits I was seeing a week. It was something like 400 minutes. 400 minutes if I saved 2 minutes an appointment. We did two and a half. So we went from 10 minutes to 2 and 15. Like that 400 appointments. Just shifting that gear down a little bit. I think it worked out. It was 500 minutes or something, which is what like it's a whole day. it was a whole shift. So yeah. So
and you weren't open plan when you started with me.
Do you know what? When I worked in the first clinic I ever worked in as a new grad, I was open plan.
Got it.
And I took over a practice that was closed plan. And we were in the process of going open plan. I'm pretty certain there's a post somewhere on the inner circle of, hey, look, we've just opened or just about to open up a new open plan space. And then COVID just went boom. And there's no way that we could distance the tables enough in the space that we had to make an open plan practice work. So we just went, all right, okay, we're going to pivot on this. And we just kicked the can down the road. And it just kept getting kicked down and further and further and further. And I just one day, like when my associate was starting, I was like, okay, I'm going to have to make this plunge now, because if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. So I had to do it before they started, because if I didn't do it before they started, then it was never going to happen. And I say I'm open plan. I still pretty much work closed room. I just doing 7-minute appointments. So I booked 2 people.
So we have,
and the other nice thing about booking 2 people in 15, like someone always shows up late.
Always.
Yeah, so it works. And then you've got one person that turns up. It just keeps my day running so much easier. It's so much more fluid.
What I love about this conversation, there's a couple ways to, if you will, skin the cat. So you can go you can more people in the same amount of time. You can hire associates. You can increase new patients. You can increase your prices. We've been working together for so long now that actually, I'm assuming you've done a little bit of all of that, right? You've done multiple source of new patients. You've raised prices. You've gone to associates. You've gone to more in less time. You've done all those things. But what I'd love to ask you quickly is, okay, so you are essentially in a very good position to, if you will, coach. So what I mean by coach is right now is, if you had to give us a bit of a prediction, and what have you seen the last 6 months in your practice, and how do you think that's going to change in the next 6 months? So if you were giving anyone advice in this who's struggling to go from $250,000 a year to, let's say they're £500,000 a year, what have you seen in your practice? And talk as if you'd be like, hey, what you're going to have to do in the next 6 months, you're going to have to do this, and this, like I had to do. Whether that's go from 1 workshop every 2 months to 2 workshops a month. What has been the big game changers? Give me 3 game changers right now that you'd say to anyone who's struggling to go from $500,000 to $1 million.
I mean, one thing that massively changed me was employing. So making sure I had an associate. That it just epically increased. More automation. We have automated more. So CRMs. Outsourced that, or I say automating or outsourcing. So again, stuff like done for you, automation, again, same with the phone calls, CRMs, like it just having more automation, so it frees up time. And then just focusing on retention. That's been a big thing for us. That is probably been our biggest focus. So just little things of going back to basics. So we've started adding birthday cards, where we send a birthday card with a scratch card in the post. We've just given out, or starting to give out, Christmas gifts. Like it's not major, but we take 500 clients that have spent over £500 and we just get them a £5 gift. It's not. It's
Dude,
nothing crazy. It's like
I think it is.
and
By the way, keep going. This is gold, but I think it is major. Actually, it's small.
Yeah.
I think, but it's phenomenal because how few practices, Patrick, are going to send 500 customers?
Yeah, they're not. That's the point, right?
They're
and even
not.
though it's like when I say it's not major, it's not a big expensive gift.
Yes,
but it's more than anybody else is doing. Like, and
For
we
sure.
know that. Like, it's
For
the same again with workshops. Like it is our opening line to pretty much every workshop. Like, how many people do you know that are willing to give up their Saturday afternoon to talk about X? How many people in the room has had an expert spend their afternoon talking about Y? Like, it's we do it with I did it with a neurodiverge talk as well. You know, as is the room, I was like, look, you can gun me down, but if I change one kid's life in this room, like, I've done my job. So you
fantastic.
So just as is in the room. But yeah, we just try and do as much as we possibly can to, one, retain, but also show our customers that we actually give a shit.
Yeah, dude, that's phenomenal. Any other tips on that, on the retention? So what has been a big focus for you? What Patrick does really well, by the way, guys, is he shows up to every single event, and he also brings his team. So I know you've always got, who's with you always?
Andrew.
Andrew's always with you, right? She's like at every event with you.
Yeah.
So practice manager.
Yeah. So she's our marketing manager. Yeah.
Marketing manager. She's at every single event with you, and that allows you to also debrief a little bit. So you're cross-pollinating the learning. You don't have to go away from the event to then give it to Andrea, but she sits on it, and she's on those calls with my team, and she's on the call with the website people, the blog post people, the lead gen people, the AI people. That's been a huge help for you, eh?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And we just try and turn up as much as we possibly can.
Yeah, you do it
in respects to everything, by the way.
Yeah, because it's interesting, because actually you're massively engaged in pretty much everything in my business, have been for years, but you're also massively engaged in making sure that you improve your adjustments and stuff like that. So we were just talking about that. One of our former members, which is his name? Tom, yeah. So Tom, you said I'd show up to Tom's adjusting courses, and they go to Finding the Primary, and you were at there. Now we were at Syntropy in the room, and I'm no doubt you're going to be at the March event with Dr. Tim Young, working on those.
My associates are already like. One of my associates was going to miss our staff Christmas do to go to a Tim Young seminar. So when I sent him the video that Tim Young was coming, he's already like losing his head.
Yeah, that's amazing. He just messaged me today. He's so excited to spend some time with our group. But yeah, closing. I just wanted to close and then go. It just feels like you've been able to maintain. If I notice a difference in you of the time that I've worked with you, it seems as if, and tell me if I'm reading into this correctly, and then we can dive into it just a little bit as we close off here. But it seems like you've been able to manage complexity better in your career. It actually seems as if you're managing a lot of complexity right now. Look, you've managed to keep the staff costs like really down, but do the CRM, converse with the agency, implement AI telephone. That's a big deal, bro. And manage the complexity around that, because there is complexity, and we take a big deal out of it for you. But there's still management, linking CRMs and APIs and working on scripts. Anything you've been able to. So from a mental perspective, an emotional perspective, tell us about some tips that you've been able to. I'm sure there were times where you're like, "Fuck it, I want to give it. I want to give up. This is too hard." And I can certainly talk to almost any entrepreneur like that. So tell us about how you've been able to manage complexity, going from 200,000 all the way to close to $1 million now. What's been helpful?
It doesn't feel any different. I think I heard this saying once. Big project, small project, same work.
It is.
Big project, small project, same work. I honestly...
you heard that. You heard that from me, but
yeah, I can't remember who it was in reference to. It was something to do with the hotel.
Yeah, it was someone who I had dinner with who was building a hotel, and I said to him, "Dude, like, it's crazy. You're building a hotel. Like, how do you manage that?" And he looked at me and said, "Dude, big project, small project. 200,000 practice, 2 million practice, same work.
It's the same work.
It's still.
I still have to do the same screenings. I still have to do the same health talks. I still have to, and that's what we've always done. We just do more of the same thing.
Perfect.
Big project, small project, same work.
Fine. Any just tips on what's your cadence within the practice to maintain that complexity with regards to meetings and
Not good enough.
All right, but not good enough is not everyone listening to this right now is in the same position as you, which is not good enough. So tell us where you're at.
So
how do you maintain it? Yeah.
Monthly was with front desk staff. I'm probably bi-weekly with Andrea.
Awesome. So it's a marketing manager.
Yeah.
It's a every second
more
week
frequent meetings with her, and then we have a quarterly to set out the rest of the diary. So cool. When we're doing when we're setting our kind of what our events are we're doing quarterly. So we do that as a quarterly. It's not like a quarterly like you teach it, but we do a quarterly meeting. What we doing?
Dude, I always teach this. A bad quarterly is better than no quarterly. So so you do a quarterly meeting.
We do a quarterly meeting, and then we have every 2 weeks checking in on what the events and stuff are, and what the booking rates and stuff are looking like, and what do we need to do different, what do we need to change.
Perfect. And then
so one of them's like an hour and a half, and one of them's like 20 minutes, half an hour. It's not they're not long meetings, but it's just keeping in check and just monitoring, making sure things are doing what we want to do.
Yeah, look, you're in such a high performing group that you may not even realize this, but you know how few practices meet even once every 2 weeks for 90 minutes to just talk about marketing. So, I mean, the biggest takeaway from this, if you listen to this right now and you want to get to 1 million and above and take your practice from 200,000 to 1 million, is they meet at least every 2 weeks for 90 minutes just to talk about. This is not a general meeting. This is a marketing meeting about what's happening with events, when's the next one, and you're engaged in, and you've hired effectively to that person's engaged with the marketing. So, okay, great. So tell me about what you feel. How do you feel the market's going to change in the next 6 months? And you said just doing more, but anything you're massively focusing on retention right now? Any other thoughts on that?
Just, I think sticking with the basics, utilize the market you've already got and drumming in with that. So I think, we all get caught up with online marketing. And I think, online marketing is important, but stick with the people you got in front of you. Give out the vouchers, still give out the hamper campaigns, still do the Google review, blah, 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 blah. So, I think that's something that gets lost a lot. And I think people should always stick with their basics. It's going to get more expensive, so you're going to have to stand out more. I've noticed it. We were talking about this at the last mastermind.
What have you noticed?
Costs of advertising is going up. So we have to convert more or make the most of those customers that are coming in. It was when I first started working with you, costing us £3, £4, £5 a lead, and now we're looking at 15. So it's got big jumps and changes.
Thousands of percentiles increase in marketing costs, and by global standards, still really cheap, but it's still relevant for you guys.
However, I know I'm willing to pay more.
Yeah, but why are you willing to pay more? Because
I know it returns.
It's return, and that person that's willing and able to spend the most to acquire a customer wins. Yeah. So I think there's lots of real nuggets from this. Everyone's listening to this right now is that, again, don't take for granted that he's taken from 200,000 to 1 million with very little admin costs. Obviously, you've outsourced a lot of that. Seems to be a bit of a skill set of yours. You're good at outsourcing. You never had any meeting without Andrea.
I hate anything administration wise.
So you always make sure Andrea's with you.
I just delegate everything. I'm only good at a few things. Adjusting and delegating. That's about as good. They're my skills in life.
Well, I'll close with that. What's your superpowers, dude? And what do you think has been a secret to you getting to now? I like a real big milestone, especially from where you came from, 200,000 to all the way to 1 million. What's been like? What are your superpowers? What are you great at?
Say that adjusting well and delegating more. I just getting other people to do stuff that I don't want to do.
Yeah, it's interesting. Obviously, we've got Dr. Tim Young at our next event, and we always joke, and it's true, the less you do, the more you'll make. And
it's so true.
That's not the less you get done. Like, obviously, you've got Andrea doing stuff, you've got the team doing stuff, you've got more people, you're doing a lot. You're doing 2 workshops a month. You've got the cards, the birthday.
But not me.
Yes. That's key.
Not just me. Like, there was an afternoon I was sat in a pub and I get a message saying, "Hey, Patrick, we've just booked 18 new patients this afternoon." Great. Thank you.
You just described every single person's dream afternoon, basically. sitting in a pub and getting that message. But it takes leadership, dude. So
Yeah.
I think you're probably I wouldn't say too humble, but you're so humble, dude, with what you're doing, and you just show up and you're just a servant. But I think it's anyone listening to this right now is what you might not realize is you've just made some people listening to this feel very overwhelmed. And that's a feather in your cap. So what I mean by that is handling complexity like you have. For you now, it's like, oh, we just do 2 workshops a week. Some people struggle to do 1 workshop every 6 months. We just do birthday cards for every single person with a scratch card in it. Some people struggle to get that. You said things like, oh, we just sent to the top 500. And it's like, that's a big old task. So now Patrick talks about it. So I just wanted to say, hey man, like you probably, as I say, you're so humble in the way you do it, but you're handling a ton of complexity right now. And there's no mean feat to get a practice. I don't know the full stats on this, but to get a practice to the level that you are right now, it's a great job, dude. Also, you're a great leader in the way you're able to build that those associates up, and they look like they're making great money, which is exciting. They're serving a lot of people, which is exciting. And we're building a great thing around you. So thanks for jumping on the call with me today. My purpose for doing more of this, and this is something I'm teaching in my group, which you would be testament to. The last event, I said, hey, if you're not producing more content, if you're not out there, if you're not posting multiple times a day, I'm actually just did a video yesterday about my predictions for 2026. And one of them being that most people are going to have a little part-time person in the business, really pumping out organic social media. And if you're not posting at least once a day, you're going to be left behind. So in the effort to do that, I know someone's going to listen to this, and you're going to give them a hope, and you give them an opportunity to, hey, if Patrick can go from 200,000 to $1 million, I can do the same. So any closing thoughts from you?
Go and enjoy practice, because I think that's really the thing that I've taken home from this, is that the more I enjoy it, the easier it gets.
That's awesome, dude. I appreciate you, and thanks for spending time with us today to help some people serve more people. See you later.